As long as you're not one of the people who gets killed.
Η δυστοπία είναι πάντα ο παραγωγός της θετικής της εξέλιξης, ή θα μπορούσε και η εξέλιξη να είναι εξέλιξη χωρίς να είναι δυστοπία?
Is this from a biological point of view or?
Σας ρωτάω κοινωνικά.
Well, let's go to the biological point of view first. So, fish didn't learn to walk because they wanted to walk. They learned to walk
Σωστή προσέγγιση.
The water where they were was drying up and they wanted to get to the next water. So nature is inherently conservative, and forms don't usually change unless the environment changes, unless conditions change, and they have to adapt or perish. Is that a useful metaphor for human beings?
Απολύτως.
I hope not.
Αν και στην εξέλιξη μπορούν τα ψάρια να περπατήσουν, αλλά...
Yes, but not because they want to walk. It's because they want the next water. They want to keep swimming, but they're not able to, so they have to think of something else, as it were. So I don't know whether we can view dystopia in such a positive light. What we can say is that when people are living under very difficult circumstances, of course they're always hoping for something better, because we are an inherently optimistic being. Why is that? Because our ancestors who were not optimistic probably didn't get up in the morning. And they certainly didn't go out to look for an antelope. So they weren't very motivated. So we have optimism built in unless we're feeling extremely depressed or caffeine deprived. Don't you think?
Να ρωτήσω, πρέπει να είμαστε σαν και καλά άσχημα για να είμαστε καλά?
Do we have to feel? What a question. I can tell I'm in Greece. You don't. It's the Socratic method. Platonic questions. Do we have to feel bad to be good? What a question. I don't know. What do you think?
Σας το λέω γιατί είμαστε σε μια πραγματικότητα, ζούμε μια πραγματικότητα που οι περισσότεροι άνθρωποι κατασκευάζουν λίγο περισσότερο τη δυστυχία για να μπορέσουμε να υπερβούμε την ίδια την κατάσταση στην κακή που βρισκόμαστε.
Oh, do you know people like that?
Πολλοί, νομίζω γύρω μας έχουμε γεμίσει εδώ.
Well, it might be a sort of political trick. Actually, sometimes I've known politicians to do that. So you disarrange things, you make a chaos, and then you say, I can fix the chaos, and then everybody thinks, what a wonderful person you are, not knowing that it was you who made the chaos in the first place. So this is an old trick, but I haven't given it really a lot of thought, and I don't know what it's like here. Do people do that here? Yes, they do.
Γιατί πιάνει αυτό το κόλπο?
It works because we're so optimistic. Again, we believe them.
Μεγάλες δυστοπίες που εντοπίζετε τώρα πια στην πραγματικότητα που ζούμε, ποιες είναι για σας?
Oh, the ones of the 20th century. I always associate them with dictatorship, because a dystopia is an arranged bad society, an arranged controlling society, whereas chaos or an anarchy is when the whole structure breaks down and you don't have anybody controlling it, and that's when you get warlords and gangs and anarchy and basically looting and sort of free-form stealing and murder and things like that, widespread. So when the social order breaks down, it's not so much a dystopia as an anarchy. And when you have dystopic society in real life. It may be quite well ordered, and in fact it's probably quite well ordered, but it's controlling. So we used to wonder before 1989, when the world order was rearranged with the fall of the Iron Curtain, we used to wonder which would win. Would it be Brave New World? Would we get Big Brother? Or would it be, would it be 1984? Would we get Big Brother? Or would it be Brave New World? And would we get programmed people who had a sort of lots of fun but didn't think very much and went shopping a lot? And when 1989 happened, we thought, well, Brave New World has won, now we're just going to go shopping all the time and not think very much. But as it turns out, we were wrong, because then everything rearranged itself again in 2001. Now we have another rearrangement, because every time you move a powerful piece on the chessboard, the position of all the other pieces changes. So that's what we're living in now, most likely.
Ποια είναι η σχέση της ουτοπίας, του ονείρου και της ελπίδας?
Is there a right answer? To get a prize. What is the relationship between utopia, dream, and hope? Well, utopia and hope are obviously very connected, although some utopias are satires. For instance, in Gulliver's Travels, you have a utopia, but the great good place is run by horses, and the great bad people in it are human beings. So that's a satire on us. And some people even say that Sir Thomas More's utopia was also a satire. So it can have that kind of effect, in which case the utopia is not so much hopeful as a commentary on us, and we're usually seen as quite bad in those situations. Dream, if by dream you mean the things that we have when we're asleep, do you mean that kind of dream?
Όχι βέβαια, όχι βέβαια. Με τον τρόπο με τον οποίο φαντασιώνουμε το μέλλον μας. Ένα καλύτερο μέλλον.
Yes, daydreaming. Well, the most popular story in the history of the world is the Cinderella story. It's also very old. So why is it so popular? Because we always hope that our position in life will rise because we're such good, deserving people, as well as being good-looking and having useful, magical fairy godmothers. We certainly would hope that this would happen to us. It hardly ever does, but that's why that story is so popular. So in that sense, the utopia is a wish fulfillment creation, and in that sense also the dystopia is a creation of fear. So we have made many real dystopias. We haven't made very many functioning utopias, although we've made places that are more pleasant than other places, obviously.
Πότε η ουτοπία γίνεται ψέμα?
When does it become a lie? You mean in real life or in fiction? Or?
Στη φαντασία μας.
Either one.
Δεν γίνεται ποτέ.
In fiction. Well, in fiction it says on the package, you know, it's like, it says fiction. That means it's not true. You know, you have the warning. It's like this thing on the cigarettes. This may kill you. So on the book it says fiction, and that means you made it up. Doesn't it? Whereas if it's non-fiction, it claims to have some relation to the truth, but because we're suspicious 21st century people, if someone writes an autobiography and says they're telling the truth, we tend not entirely to believe them. And we also believe about fiction that we're somehow concealing a real truth in it, that we've changed the names, and that maybe we've put real people in, or maybe we've put real events in, that it's a roman à clé, and that it's reality, but we've disguised it. So the relationship between fiction and truth, it's always been a bit of a problem, which is why Plato kicked the poets out of the Republic. He thought they told lies. Yes. Yeah.
Άρα θα μπορούσαμε να πούμε ουτοπία ότι είναι το καλύτερο εργαλείο για να περάσουμε στην ευτοπία, που ουσιαστικά είναι απέναντι στη δυστοπία.
Okay, so I think all of these things are like blueprints or warning tales. For instance, the story of Atlantis, I think, was a warning tale about people getting too clever and elaborating knowledge too far. That's usually how it's read. People, of course, have been looking for it ever since. Under the sea, there have been a lot of people thinking that there was a real Atlantis, and that they can find it down there somewhere. Other people think it was based on a really quite an attractive, or it looks quite an attractive place, which was Minoan civilization. It was attractive anyway for the upper classes. It's often the way in utopias and real life both, that it's attractive for the upper classes.
Η δυστοπία είναι μία απώλεια του μέτρου. Από τι προκαλείται?